Okay, so we'll look on some segments properties. Let's continue with this. We'll look on a segment general properties like length, thickness, radius, all this effect, graphism that applied. The next, let's look on a cap. Cap is the top of this. So what I want to do right now, it is actually take this one and kind of a little bit increase so we can see top a little bit better. And this is what created this cap kind of offset, because right now you can see it's kind of sliced and we can remove it or we can smooth out. To smoothing, we can enable, just click smooth, and you can see right here we have a little bit bevel right going on the top, as well with a cap profile to work. So let's say right on the end we'll go select a little bit down, and you can see this is the center of our cap. So maybe instead we want to go a little bit higher to create a little bit more pointing to this, and yeah, just like this, a little bit more point towards. Okay, of course you can go in straight, and this create a little bit better look on a cap. Overall, it's there. You can look on a little bit more proper shape what you want to do, but generally probably a bit smoothing and readjusting will look slightly better. Again, this is applied only for the segment that currently selected. I need to do this for other segment. I need to select, highlight them, and going inside the properties right here on the cap, and probably just readjust a little bit them on the end right here as well. Okay, this is property. Next we have it root flares. This is a very nice option because allowed us to modify how the bottom of the tree looking. We'll look another tutorial how to create a tree roots that would look kind of interesting going all the way, but many times you actually don't see roots on the trees. Mostly if in the grass nothing, but you see only kind of touching the ground, but the flare on the bottom as usual tree is a little bit expanded. With these properties it's allowed you to modify that. So let's enable, and you can see instantly how we have this nice effect on the trees. The first property is how many flares do we have. Currently it's set to 5, so we can set to the 3, and you can see right here we have 1, 2, and 3 properties, or 4. Again, notice we also have the random, so we can modify and add values that will randomly change on different planes. Again, if you set 4, it can be anywhere from 0 to 8. My recommendation on the randomness, use maybe about half or 1/3 of the value at least, so you don't go all the way down. As well, we have the parent filter applied from previous, so if we have another root flare from this, we can work with the parent how it will apply. Randomness, it is how apply different shape of them looking. So let's, for example, we pop up a little bit higher, and you notice how one is become a little bit longer, this becomes shorter. So just add this randomness effect. Okay, we'll go bring a little bit lower, or let's just set 0 for now so we have it exactly the same. That will help us to look on other properties. Height, again, if you need it you can go over, which allowed us to create how high they will go, and right here you notice right this edge right here, so we can go higher, and let's go up high on the trees. Currently it's 2, so if we set 10, which is the length of our trees, you can see how tall it start going up to our number 10. So this depends on what type of the tree you're creating, you can adjust. And in some cases you can use this to create very interesting bark effect. So for example 8 right here, you can see we have effect, interesting bark, and when we decrease depth, so we can kind of create more interesting integration with this. Okay, so let's go back. We set to 1 on this, let's set 4 back here, and we'll pop up a little bit depth more on them. Okay, next we have the base swell. So right here is our base, and by increasing, you'll notice we kind of start growing out. However, our depth, we start losing right here depth, so we need to rework a little bit on this. But overall, this is effect maybe you want to apply for the flower, or maybe for some fungus or other effect. But overall, this is a base width for our plant. So let's go. This little bit doesn't look natural, so we'll reduce a little bit base right here. Okay. Next, depth. So we can bring very high depth, and you can see how they start spreading out a little bit more. Okay, we can bring even higher depth, so we start having those nice roots. Currently, you can see how the synchronized going to look very unnatural, but it will help you to create if you want to go higher on this. So let's go set link 5. Oops. So you can see how tall they start going to look more interesting with the effect on this. Okay, so let's go ahead, set height 1, depth maybe 2.1 as well, bring a little bit closer. Width, okay, look, so we look on the depth, and right here you can see width is overall, even it start covering, so we have it our depth a little bit higher. You notice the width of this segments the effect. So if we reduce actual width, we have it teeny tiny kind of going. So these segments, these roots that going, what width will control it. Okay, and before you remember, we look on creating kind of tall higher. So we'll go, let's create 8 right here. We'll add a height 10. So like right here now we have an interesting star effect. However, I don't like the branches right there. And let me very fast going and put them all the way up. So they'll go higher. Okay, right here you can see we have a very interesting bark effect. Currently they're just straight, they don't look kind of twisted, and for this effect we can modify with some influence. But let's look also on the shape. You notice we have another graph. So right here, let's select this one and bring up. You notice right, we add a shape. And if I want it going straight, kind of more angular effect, just go bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this down as well. So right here you can see we change shape on the bottom. Or we can bring a little bit more on top. So again, this is overall shape of the road where we're going. We can enable, so let me go select, go on the bottom, okay, and just a little bit readjusting. So right here we have it, you can see we have this curvy shape, so applied with our filter. So overall it's how height and low will be applied. Let me disable. Again, we're going back to set. Overall, this is with modification you can create a very nice root flare, which is look kind of natural. So we add roundness 3. Look a little bit more interesting. Okay, this is a root flare. And then next also we have it. It is blending with the parent and the blades. Blending with parent will look on this segment right here. So let's go enable, we'll zoom in. And right here with connecting with parent, you can notice we have going straight and kind of connect without. What's happened with roots, sometimes they grow a little bit more to increase string on top or bottom. So let's do this way. We'll go enable, and you notice how instantly right here where we're going with the tree, how it start blending nicely. So it's create this natural effect look. And based on different type of trees, sometimes like in pine trees they almost go straight without blending, but in a cherry tree or other ones they will have a little bit better blending going. This is will allow. The link is overall allowed how long the blending will spread, so from beginning to edge. So we can increase, and we'll increase this link of the blending where it starts when begin. Upper width and lower width. This is self-explanatory, so we increase upper, we have it higher width right here. Or for example, we're going again with cherry tree is actually a bit less, but a little bit more right here. And same the bottom one is this link. Of course, we notice it, as I said before, it's create a very natural look, which is very nice when you work with the branches and want them look naturally. But you always want to create based, if you copying other plants, take photos of reference and see how those branches blending. Also, we can modify profile. Currently, you can see we have it profile, so we can go edit. Okay. Just go take this profile. Just very rough. And you can see right here, I'm increasing this pop-up, so we'll pop up right here instead of smoothing profile. So you can go ahead and just overall rough modification of this. Same, we can take this profile from parent. Currently it's a past full values. We can modify and set a top values decrease, so it should decrease just slightly right here, make straight going. Okay, these parameters not always will have significant effect. It depends what kind of parameters the parent passing to you. Next we'll look on the blades. So let me do this way. We'll go turn it off right now, disconnecting effect. We'll go to segment and we'll just take root flare off. Let's remove cap as well. Okay, with the blades we will use a quite a bit when we create leaves or blades of the grass or other ones. So let's enable, and you notice right here what this blades does, it's add these two planes on the side. We still have it our trunk, which is control right on the middle. And if you want total remove this, one thing what I recommend to do, user define, we'll go and we'll press 0. So right here we actually remove it from the top. It's how we're going to create a grass blade, by removing or creating. So for now what I want to do, I want to leave it smaller so we can see it's on the middle, just for the references in this case. Okay, currently you notice we have it one blade going straight, and one thing to understand, this is actually not two blades, one and two on two sides, it's a one. So if I'm going to apply material with alpha, it will apply properly on all edges. So let me go ahead and select one. So I'm going right here, I will switch to mapped pictures and let me preload. Okay, and as example, I'm just want to take cut grass for this one, and we can have it different, or we can use it actually leave for now, just as example. We'll click open, not on sequence, but I want alpha. Okay, and you can notice right here when we applied how it spreads, so it doesn't cut one and one, so it's one full. So in this case we can do this way. Okay, let me go back and switch to vector precision. So overall I just want to show that how we'll apply an alpha with this effect. So this is how we can create a leaf effect as well. Okay, let's go back to segment and blade. We have it a number currently 1. Okay, if we add 2, you'll notice it starts spreading, and put it second. This way you can create very nice flowers or other effects, and we can create again any number. And also you notice right here we have it 6. So let's say if I type 8, you notice it will increase to 10. So we can always go back. It doesn't necessarily it's meaning in some cases it's number, it just allowed you to leave it drag and it will increase. Okay, let's go back to 1 preview. We also can apply the random number to this. Again, remember, if we're going to some numbers that says can be connected, you notice right here we don't have underline like in other effect when we can create it, so we cannot sometimes connect all of them. Okay, so like right here. Okay, let me go on a traffic example. Okay, so next we have a start and end. Okay, on the start and end, you notice it's where that we can start our blades and ending. This is help when we start creating, for example, let's modify right here, plant, or for example, if we can create from palm leaf, so we can go from top, we can also go from end. As well, you notice we can modify parameter, which is currently just passing same parameter, so it's one effect. But if you want to modify shape, we have several ways we can do this. So let's skip a little bit spread and width, and I want to go to actual section right here. Okay, we'll add additional point, and you can see how we start modifying one shape on our list as well. Let's go in profile and just take on top and a little bit cut down right here on profile. So this is how we can one way create profile. Let's do on the bottom. Okay, as well we'll take a shape. Maybe it doesn't do so much right here. Again, one thing is kind of notice we applied material is applied as a one big material, but when we work with shape or profiles, this is middle point, so this is the point right here. And as example, if I go to bring this down, notice right here in the middle, it's where we start affecting. Let me bring closer. So right here we have it kind of like a plant look, pop up and higher. So right here you can see we are already creating look like leaf. Okay, next spread. So let's decrease, and mostly this is will affect when you have it more than one. So let's go say we have it 10 blades, and notice how they spread. They don't going 360 degrees, so they spread only around the area. So we're going to 360, it will go all over, so they will have it all around. If we have it maybe 90 degrees, they will have it only from one side, which is again kind of a nice effect, and you can see how you can use a lot of this. One thing, be careful when you create, because create a lot of polygons, and if it's not close up or necessary, I kind of advise you to always watch for the amount of polygons for the performance as well. So let's go right here, we'll create one again. This is what we have it spread, and width, obviously this is the width of the leaf itself. Okay, currently we're using symmetrical. We can use single, which is create on other side, or full width. Okay, notice on a full width our profile, so let me go modify, bring this a little bit up, and right here this with full width we're beginning from one side. Okay, let's go from here, we'll select from the left right here, and we'll modify. Okay, we can bring right here as well. So again, this with full width. Okay, and let's go back to the symmetrical again, and we have it our symmetrical, but going from the center. AfterSize is work very well if you work with leaves and other ones, and you notice you in many cases you want to use the AfterSize when you start add leaves as a blades. At least I find out for myself, it's when I mostly use it, and it's take overall size of the branch and everything, and try to calculate width and height based on this. So again, this is kind of useful properties to enable, but when you create a single leaves, you probably don't want to use it. Okay, next we have options from the X. So let's go enable. And what's happening many times, the calculations will going from the skin or surface of this, and when you have it from X, its calculation will begin from the middle of the object. So look right here. Example, you can see it's kind of going a little bit around because they start from the middle of the X of this. So and if we disable, this will start from the outside skin. It's again what you're going for. If you want to create a stem, more like on the leaf, you probably want to take from the X, so you still have this effect of the stem that touch it. Or if you grass blade, you maybe, if you want to decrease, you want to remove it and create it from uncheck from X. So we also look on the sections. We have it section high. It is how high this option will apply it, or we can a little bit more flatten down. Profile, we look on this. Okay, pinching, it will effect of cut out influence on the current blades. And from axis, this is obviously based on a axis of the branching or from the global. So, and currently, because we're using as a segment itself, you don't see. If you want, we can create different and absorb that way, and you will see a little bit different applied. Okay, so this is blades, and blades is one of the way to creating leaves or grass blades. And let me load it one just as example. Okay, and this is a part we will create this in tutorial, and you can see I create a blue grass right here, where actually where's this blades right here we're using, and we have it some, this is green blades what we're using to create for the grass. So you notice we have it radius 0 because I don't want anything on my grass like stem going straight. I just want blade of the grass. And this is what we're using. We use the segment, enable the blades, and we work with this to create this kind of blue grass. This is using different type of techniques, and we will create this in tutorial so we can go in details more how to do this. Let's continue to exploring our segments in our next tutorial.